My name's David Tremayne. I'm a former journalist and have been for 30 odd years. I've watched a lot of which began when I was 4 years old and became inspired by Donald Campbell. And that dream is to break the UK land speed record. One man's death sparked off my dream, and that, of course, was Donald Campbell, who was killed on Coniston Water in Bluebird on January the 4th, 1967. So I would be just turned 14. And I saw that on the evening news at home, black and white TV, and thought, at that age, you kind of look at things like that and you think of death romantically, and you sort of, oh, what a breathing love. 2 weeks later, by chance, I find a book called the BP Book of the Racing Campbells, and I buy it with all my pocket money, and I read it from cover to cover, and I can remember half of it verbatim now. But that was all about water speed record breaking, land speed record breaking, and that was just a hook that went straight in.
So when did you decide that you wanted to set the land speed record?
Oh, I would say probably in 1967, same time. I wanted to do the water or the land speed record. But yeah, I mean, I drew pictures of those kind of cars and boats in my exercise books at school. You know, when you get those little flip books where you sort of flick each page and it makes an image move. We draw Donald Campbell or Art, somebody like zooming along the bottom of the page in our exercise books, or I design boats or engines and stuff like that. So that was, yeah, I guess I read something where Leo Villa said there'll never be another Donald Campbell to take over, blah, 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 kind of thing. And you think, well, it would be quite a cool thing to do.
So at that point in your life, did you know that you would go on to have a career as a journalist in Formula One?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, I was 14 years old, and you look at it through the prism of what a romantic sort of end it is and blah, blah, blah. No, I had absolutely no idea. I wanted to be an author. I always wanted to be an author, and I used to write little sort of kids' stories, but I had no idea beyond that. And then I guess when I was probably about 15, my dad was a teacher, and one of his friends was a publisher. And he came up, he said, what you want to do is get a job, maybe as a journalist, and write books as a cherry on the cake. And I've never forgotten that. And still, I think that applies quite well. But instead of a cherry, I look at them as being sort of a cash improver rather than a cherry. But it was very good advice. I can't remember when I wanted to be a journalist. I guess when I got into my early 20s. Something like that. So I didn't have that sort of, yes, I must be a journalist and then go on to do this. No.
So David, just tell me a little bit more about the Stay Gold project.
Well, first of all, Stay Gold is a 27-foot, 8-inch long dragster powered by a Rolls-Royce Viper 535 turbojet engine, which came out of a 1970s Saudi Air Force Strikemaster plane. It's got about 4,500 pounds with reheat. There's no gearbox, obviously, it just thrusts itself along. It's a space frame chassis built by John Webster, previously owned by Ian Casely, who began the project. And then we run on Goodyear tyres. They're 5 inches wide at the front, 10 inches wide at the back. Yeah, there's slicks at the back. They don't have to transmit any power because the thing just blasts itself along with the hot air that comes out the back end. It weighs about 2,000 pounds, including driver and fuel. And our aim is to do more than the 301.6 mile an hour record. So to break that by 1%, as the regulations require, we'll need to do about 305 miles an hour.
When did the idea go from being an idea to reality for you?
Well, I can sort of, it's a few stages. So John Piper designed the JCB Diesel Max, and we were part of that project with which Andy Green broke the diesel land speed record. And then I started talking to Pipes about tyres, Goodyears, because he'd done the spin testing of the same Goodyears we run on the front of our dragster for Diesel Max. And of course, he was saying, "What are you doing? What are you up to?" Like this, like he's my dad. And I told him that there was this jet car I wanted to buy. And typical John Piper, it was like 5 miles from where he lives. So I went down to see it. John came with me. And I knew that he was coming to see if it was a sensible sort of thing and it had been put together properly. So that's where partly it became real, because there was the car and I had to buy it. But if you don't have a vehicle, it's easy to talk about these things, but no vehicle, no project is the way I look at it, unless you've got the wherewithal to design and build it yourself. And this isn't that kind of project. So that's the first stage. The second stage was Tony Pennell, who used to run Jaguar, very kindly was my first sponsor, and Tony pledged some money. So the car was 20 grand, and I didn't have any money, but I talked to Tony and he said, "Oh, I can give you some." And then the third thing was Martin Whitmarsh of McLaren. I was writing a book, I think it was McLaren The Winds, I was writing for them. And I phoned Martin and said, the convention with these things is you get maybe 33 or 50% up front. So he said, "Yeah." So I said, "What are the chances you could give me 100% up front?" And he said, "What do you want it for?" So I told him. He said, "There's this jet car that I want to buy, blah, 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 do the UK land speed record." And Martin, it took him a whole 3 seconds to say, "Yeah, I think we can do that."
So the day's approaching where you're going to go for the land speed record. How are you feeling ahead of that?
I know we've got a lot of stuff to get done, so we need to be very focused. But I'm excited. You know, we had that near miss on August 7th and 8th when we had some tyre problems. Well, now we've got some wonderful new tyres. We're going to put them on. I'm just really looking forward to being back in Stay Gold, getting her running properly. Jonathan Kendrick at Rocket, our new sponsor, who's been massively patient. I just want to deliver something for him and for all the team and for all the other people that have supported us, because now's the chance not just to talk about it, but to do and to get on with it, to go down in the arena, get your face dirty and get on with it.
The day begins with the team carrying out final checks ahead of the first run.
I'd like to see do some familiarisation runs with the car, low pass, no afterburner, and then we can build it with afterburner.
Yeah, that's what chatting about.
Bill Smith, the man who restored Donald Campbell's record-breaking Bluebird, alongside Kieran, Westman and Tom Tremayne, are supporting the engineering and logistics side, whilst the rest of the crew make sure that the last-minute adjustments have been made.
It's meant to be on the stick. That will come up once it runs.
I think it's all right now. It's trying to get through.
Are you doing another cross member?
Yeah.
Barely going up. That's under.
That's one. Do you want to put the other one down?
You've got to lie it down to get injured.
So time for David to get comfortable getting in and out of the cockpit.
I thought
coming out the top again now. It came out before, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need 600 or something.
No.
So we can get the yak.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah, I mean, before you actually run, I need to tidy up some of the bottom of those belts just where they're loose.
How you feeling?
Sneaking into my dream. Yeah, good.
With the main checks completed, it's time to fire up the engine.
This time.
I was expecting there's fuel everywhere. That's why I ran to the front. That parachute's dropped this. Parachute's on the floor for some reason. Oh, well, it nearly went into the jetty first. That took too long.
Can you just tell me what happened between yourselves? Chat.
What happened?
Yeah.
It lit. It's basically got air in the system with standing. So I had to get the air out, which we did. But it still takes a little while to get all the air out. And therefore there wasn't enough fuel to spool the engine up fast enough to blow it. Because most of the air that goes in the front just comes out the back to carry the heat away. It only uses 20-30% of what goes in. And it wasn't pulling enough air through to cool itself. It just got hot. Shut it down, let it stand, it'll go next time.
yeah, hang on. You are meant again. Just press start. See if that light stays on. Right. I stayed on this time. Without going out. It ran up the first time. The second time we did it just now, it didn't. So let's have another go. Bell? Do it. Light on.
Is it on? Are you sure that I can't remember. You know the electric shuttle, which take your foot off that. Is that energized?
Which is on? That's on it. So if I pull that. Yeah, go on, pull it. Yeah, right. Okay. Oops. Don't worry, okay.
So,
And that's on the micros, which is
that, and that's moving the throttle lever on there.
Yeah.
The BS.
Scratching your heads for about 10, 15
maybe
minutes
that's-
trying to find out what was wrong. What's the prognosis from that run?
Slightly dicky electrics, as far as we can tell. It's got various systems on to shut it down in the event of an accident. These are systems that you don't find on the aircraft. Because shutting your engine down mid-flight on an aircraft's not a desirable thing. Whereas shutting this down and goes out of control is a great idea. So it's got various things to shut the engine down. And as far as we can tell, one of those systems was having a bit of fun to itself. So that was a very good start. If it does that for the rest of the day, happy.
In a slight delay, what was the major problem?
I think it was just a test of my patience to see how good I'd become. We had an airlock in the fuel system, and then we had a little electrical problem. Not quite sure what it was, but I was just literally phoning Trish, and it fired. So I guess it was phoning her that cured it. We think it looks like we're okay to have a run now.
Because it's been a while since David's been in the car, we need him to do some familiarisation runs. So that will be a full pass, low speed, no faster than 100 miles an hour, no afterburner, and we'd like to see him pull the main chute. He's already passed the already passed the test of exiting the car in under 15 seconds and the blindfold cockpit familiarisation. So I'm happy with that. The car's good, so we're just working it little baby steps so that we can achieve the goal that he's here to do.
mate. Stop at the end of the line. Yeah, sorry.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was much better.
Yeah.
And I used the brakes a bit harder, but I also did the other chute,
Yes.
which was, yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of room there.
Yeah, you got
188.
You could
On
have
the
gone the
eighth, that.
secondary shoot earlier even.
Yeah, I deliberately left it a little bit just to see. I wanted to see what we were doing with the main
They're
one.
still touchable as well, so then you haven't been using that.
Yeah, I didn't use them as much.
Very good.
Right.
Did that make any difference with the second shoot?
Yeah, it did actually.
Oh, you let it run down here?
Yeah, I did. I deliberately wanted to see how much we could get on the first one and not using the brakes.
Right.
And then I just did the other one to see what it felt like.
So
you could feel it.
Feel the second one?
Yeah, it felt about pulling you up, so I wonder if we swap them round.
What, you'd rather have the bigger one first, would you?
It doesn't matter, you just pull that one instead of... No, you'd have to swap it for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But,
oh, it's easy to do on the back.
I mean, we don't need to do that today, but that's interesting. The other one is slightly bigger, the orange one's slightly bigger, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's the other one you've got? That's an orange one as well, is it?
No, that's the black.
Oh, that's
the black one.
Oh, you've only got one big one.
The orange is the only big one we've got, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have got a spare one.
Okay.
Which is the one we used the last time.
I think you're better off with the small one first and then the bigger one.
But that was definitely better retard.
Which lever does which parachute? Because we're just repacking them.
That's
that's the.
Oh yeah, that's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Hang on a second.
This is the black one.
Say when. Yeah. That one. Say when. Did you enjoy that?
That was much better. Although they said I probably shoot a bit early, which I didn't think I did, but obviously I did. This week lost 10 miles an hour at the end.
It wasn't much.
But it felt like the first shoot actually did a better job.
You got a tailwind, don't forget.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You got a carry tailwind.
It was good with that one as well. So
This Gero leak's getting worse.
Is it?
Yeah, so that could get drawn in. I don't like.
Yeah, we're going to need some PTF tape for the.
Let's go back to the pits and fix that.
Is it the cap? Is it the cap?
So were you on full shoots there, Dave?
Sorry?
Both shoots.
Oh, I knew that.
Were you on both shoots and brakes?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't using the foot brakes very much. I was wanting to see what the primary shoot would do.
For a 1.8, whatever it was, there's not much braking distance left there.
For this? Well, that's what I would have thought the first time, but I wasn't using the brakes anything like as much.
Right. Okay.
And this one was good.
Yeah, so the second shoot, it will be, it's twice the size and
yeah, it's a bigger one, isn't it? Yeah. I wonder, we were just discussing that, Graham. We were just discussing that maybe we use the orange as the primary.
The primary. I would use your
smaller one
first.
I'd
use that one, smaller one, and always go that second.
Always.
So then you've got your two-stage braking.
Yeah. Okay.
I got it. That's all you've got. You happy?
Yeah,
so it doesn't go any further, John.
The micro switch.
It's the micro switch is where it should be. It goes under the rod, doesn't it?
Under here needs looking at.
Oh, hang on.
That's going to get
that's cap.
You happy at that end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if it's a polythene bag and the tyre, you know.
Yeah.
We got some tape.
PTF tape on threads.
PTF tape, something. Yeah.
Kyle.
We'll do some with it.
We'll do something.
We'll fix that.
And then you need
Caps
to
on the fuel tank.
you also need to get
Nice job with the wheel balancing.
Good.
Yeah, the fuel is on the.
Like a Rolls Royce.
No thanks.
So, was the tank being pressurised and splashing?
Right, 10 to 3, lads. Let's get it back.
Let's get it back.
Same again?
Yep. Well, we've got to do the fuel cap.
Yeah, stop.
Time for another couple.
What?
2 runs.
We've got to do a quick fix on the fuel cap.
Which political bit do you want, Tom?
Keep going back.
You're going to talk to the van?
Yeah.
Keep going back. Is that the lid then?
Hard left.
Tom, you've been working on this project for a long, long time. Let me take you back to this morning. What were your thoughts as you arrived here?
It's been a long journey, I think it's fair to say. Partly because of the technical issues that we've had over the years to get it running properly, and partly time and lack thereof. We had a planned attempt a few weeks ago that I think none of us were feeling particularly comfortable with. The closer we got to it anyway. But actually now the feeling here has been completely different. You know, it's nice to have everybody together. It feels like the proper team's back together again that we were lacking last time. So we came already feeling confident and feeling, I think, like we had a measured and balanced approach, which was key. It didn't feel like we were kind of having to rush or fighting the tide. So it was good to see the small things. It was good to see the wings go on. It was good to see the belts tightened up. It was good to see it coming together like a car again.
And what progress do you feel you've made today?
I think today we've done exactly what we needed to do. We've taken the time to get used to the car again, and I mean that from us as a team as much as from Dad. You know, we collectively haven't worked on the car as a team for quite a bit, so that was an important element of it. Equally important to have the likes of Bill and Kieran and Paul here today as well. But it feels like we've all come away feeling a lot more confident with the car, with the program, with the process. And I think that was exactly what we needed to achieve today. Speed in my mind was irrelevant. I'm sure probably different in Dad's mind, but for me it wasn't about what speed we came away with. It was the fact that we came away knowing that we've made progress and positive progress, and it feels like that's exactly what we've done.
How important is it to have the team of people around you that you have?
Super. I mean, that was half the issue last time, that we didn't have certain people that we felt were key. So everybody here is super key because they're finicky little things. And in Kieran, we've got someone who knows an awful lot about the driving side of things. In Bill, we've got someone who knows an awful lot about the engine side, and with his team, because ultimately it was they who kind of got it working again. With Paul, you know, most of what we've been chasing today is electronics, and he's just on top of all of that kind of stuff. And without those guys, I think we'd have been a bit sunk.
How were you feeling when you saw your dad sort of get ready to do that first run? Obviously, being aware that you need to keep all emotions in check at that point. But you can tell me now. How did you feel?
Honestly, I think sometimes I'm fairly emotionally moribund, because there wasn't really any sort of fear. I was even saying in the van, last time I drove over this crest, I saw the car upside down, thinking, it shouldn't look like that. So, you know, when you're up there, the first thing is to get the car working. And when we had the issues with it starting here, that's the first point where you think, this would be a really stupid reason not to be able to run. Then you get out on track, and as soon as Dad launches, you're watching for him going straight, you're watching for the chutes to come out, which is a bit tricky to see because the car's kind of dropped over the crest by that point. So you see the drogue and nothing else. But yeah, I mean, honestly, excited for him, but emotions from my side, maybe rightly or wrongly, don't really come into it.
What's the plan for tomorrow?
Plan for tomorrow is to be back here in the morning, ready to run. We have done a lot of the setup work from this morning that obviously we now don't need to repeat tomorrow, so we'll be in a position to run earlier, more quickly. The big unknown tomorrow is the weather. That aside, the plan's to come here tomorrow to do a burner test, because we haven't run under hot power yet. We haven't fired the engine under hot power, so that's another element of unknown. Whether we do that static or running, I think we'll probably do it running, but only for a few seconds. And then we'll have to look at data for that. And then, all being well there, we'll just build up exactly as we have done today, but on hot power instead of cold power, and see where that leaves us.
So, David, we're all set for the second day of running today. Unfortunately, the weather has gone against you.
Somebody said Bill should have brought Bluebird K7 down. Either that or set a Goodyear wets, but we don't have either of them, so it is what it is, to use the expression I'm beginning to get really tired of.
I mean, obviously, you've had a conversation with the rest of the team and made the decision not to run today because of conditions.
Yeah, this is, I mean, A, it's record-breaking. B, it reminds me of Bonneville. I remember being on the causeway and all the USAC guys are there, same kind of weather. And one of them said, we're in a hurry up and wait situation. And that's what we've been in since 2017. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not very patient, but I have been quite patient. And we did have a good day yesterday. We learnt a lot. If you actually think about it, we got a car that crashed here 250 miles an hour, and we did 217 without a reheat. It's a brilliant job that we've rebuilt her. ROKit's been kind to us. I hope it's still going to stay with them. And we'll just have to wait and see. I think we're probably looking at next year now. Everything's busy with Formula One for the rest of the year. Plus, you know, the longer you get into the winter, the less the weather's likely to play ball.
So a huge amount of disappointment, I guess.
Annoyance more than anything.
Looking at the team yesterday and the unity within them and the strategy that unfolded during the day, how proud are you of them?
Super proud. And some people don't think we have much leadership in this team, but we're all grown-ups. And it's like Richard and his flat pyramid that he always used to talk about at Thrust SSC. Well, now you kind of understand. We all know what our jobs are. Everyone gets on with it. We were saying last night about Tom and Bill, their double act. It's just great. Yeah, I'm hugely proud of them. It's great to have Kieran here. Because he was with us in 2012 at Campbell, and Paul, just can't get rid of him. Paul Jewell and Paul Stabler, all the guys, it's just, I'm massively proud of them, and I still don't really know why they're doing it. It's kind of humbling to have them do it for you. I just wish we could have got a result for them.
Bill, a busy day yesterday. A lot was achieved. Just give us an overview of how the day went.
Had a few little teething troubles at the outset, some minor engine start problems. We've got over that quite quickly. We've done a lot of work on the car in a static environment with a job to run the engine statically, but to actually get it moving again, that was a big deal. And of course, that lets you get in to look at things like the parachutes and the brakes and other stuff you can't test when it's standing still. So, yeah, it was a valuable learning exercise. That.
So, what was the sticking point at that point that caused that delay?
Not entirely sure. I had an electrical problem. There was a bit of air had got in the system because the car had stood for a while between when we last ran it and when we ran it this time, and you've got to get all the air out of those systems. It doesn't come out on its own, but just stuff we've seen before, stuff we know how to get around, and we got around it.
Nadia, you've made the journey over from Canada. Unfortunately, we only got one day of running, but just tell us why you made the trip over.
I wouldn't let my friend make the attempt without being here to watch him, to encourage him, because I believe in it. I believe in the effort, and I believe in his dream. And everything around the message to stay gold, to stay true to who you are and your dreams.
When he went to get ready for that first run, emotionally, how did you feel? He's your friend, you've known about this project for a long, long time. Was it a sort of a moment of...
I think leading up to yesterday, there's this unknown that is so abstract in what could happen. Being here and I think observing everybody's collective experience was encouraging. But there was a little bit of a moment that caught me and thought, he's really going to do this now. But I think you are encouraged by watching other people's confidence and experience, faith in what they're doing. And you pull up and you bring your A game. And it was just smiles and encouragement. Do it, pursue it, do it. And I think that's a good lesson in life in general. Even if you're afraid of it or if you're afraid of the unknown, you step in the car and try.
Disappointing we can't do the final run today, but how impressed are you with the achievements so far?
I think yesterday was a brilliant day of learning and coming together, but also accomplishment. I think it has to be said that it was a very successful day. Everybody knew what to do, and they did it. It wasn't just an attempt. It was a very successful day. There's more to do. I think there's always more to do. There's that hunger to keep going and the passion to more and push yourself even further. But yesterday was very successful. Everything worked. Everybody brought their A game and did the job.
You glad you came?
Yes. Yeah, very worthwhile.
What's the plan from now? Sort of regroup, plan the next run?
If I'm honest, I don't think we'll run this year. It's Formula One, as usual. The greedy mistress wants attention for the rest of the year. There's books to write. And the next day is October when there's a Grand Prix. So I don't see it. I think we just wait until the first opportunity next year.
And that's still the plan?
Yeah, we haven't finished yet.